Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. I'm about to teach the newest member of our team a little bit of paint correction today. I thought I would take you along for the ride behind the scenes a little bit. I don't like to break them in easy. I like to throw them into the deep end. We're going to start with the rotary polisher. Rotary polisher and wet sanding used to be one of the most important things and the first things taught way back in the day. Now they're almost forgotten arts, but not here at this shop and not the students that come through our training facility as well. We have the perfect canvas here. This Ford Focus needs plenty of help. You need to start simple and do the wash and decon. That's iron remover, clay, and make sure it's squeaky clean. If there's any old protectants like an old wax or a sealant, we'll use a panel prep for that as well. When it comes to claying, I only clay where and if it's needed. If you're going to clay at all anywhere, you're going to have to follow up with some type of a polish or compound. All of the clay is abrasive, from mild to medium all the way up to harsh and gritty. This thing here pretty much has bonded contaminants and overspray mist throughout the whole painted areas, all of the panels, so we're going to clay the whole vehicle. Then we're going to pull it in. We'll dry it off completely and go after spots just like this that the clay could not handle. We'll tackle that with Citral 266. And we're talking about tar or pine sap. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is, since we have somebody that'll be behind the polisher with a little bit less experience, we're going to take care of protecting any plastic trim or rubber seals that either the backing plate or the pad can bump up against and potentially damage. And since we're going to go as far as multi-step correction with the car, we might as well get the headlights looking well, and I like to teach them how to get that done the right way. And that is first starting off with some sanding. Make sure you completely sand the original UVA, UVB coating off of there. It will continue to fail if you don't. If you want a more permanent fix, it's the best way to go. And then you can either clear coat or coat it from there. And as you can see, a huge turnaround, very little effort. And now finally to the paint, and you can see what we are dealing with. We have scratches, swirls, etching, water spots, you name it. We're going to start off with taking measurements, and with a vehicle of this age, we need to keep in mind clear coat does have a half-life and has also been worn down. Could have been polished who knows how many times. But when I'm talking about half-life of a clear coat, within the first 5 years, its ability to protect from UVA, UVB, and this is as thin as clear coat is. It's less than the thickness of a Post-it. And we'll take some gloss measurements. But yeah, within 5 years, the clear coat's ability to protect that gorgeous base coat from the sun's harmful rays is cut in half after the first 5 years. So you can imagine a 5, 10, 15-year-old car. The older it is, the more you have to be careful. Plenty of room for improvement when it comes to gloss, and like I said before, we like to throw our noobs into the deep end of the pool, so we break out the rotary first. The 3D AAT 501 is excellent, goes with wool or foam pads, and we're going to start with a test panel on horses. The rotary polisher is the most efficient polisher you're going to use to cut, and it's also one of the safest on clear coat because it runs cooler. There's a lot of air that flows between the fibers of the wool pad and the rotary, so it stays cooler, only fluctuating maybe 2-3 degrees higher than the area you're working on compared to the rest of the panel. So just grab the rotary, cut to the chase, and do your cutting with that. What we'll do first, applying the product. You can apply product right onto the pad itself. You'll get some sling. It will be a little bit more dirty. A cleaner way to apply compound for the rotary: dump a little bit on a pad, spread it out on a small area you're going to be working. Put a drop or two on the wool pad, but massage it into the fibers. And you know to always put the cord up over your shoulder so it's not dragging on that. So always, this one here you can't feather because it's electric interface. If it has a dial, turn it down to the lowest speed and start it up slow to spread out the product. You keep it on this speed or go up to the next one. I normally don't go any higher. Keep it flat for the most part. If it starts to skip on you and wobble, lift it up on a 10 to 15 degree angle and then slowly put it back down again. Always keep it moving. Don't hover in one spot because it cuts quick. When I come up to a peak or a body line, you can get pinstripe tape and tape it if you're not sure of yourself. Saves you from burning through. Or you can work, well, you definitely want to work the pad like this anyways, but come up to the edge and then come to the other side of the edge and come up to it, so you're never balancing the pad on top of the peak and burning through. Polisher's always under control. I'm never throwing it around or stabbing it. It's always nice and smooth and fluid movements with the rotary. And now it's your turn. And take it up. When it starts to skip like that, just take it up on a 15 and then drop it back down straight. There you go, and then drop it back down. Keep it moving. You don't need a lot of pressure. Keep pressure light. Polisher do the work. There you go. Hold it right there. Come up and work this edge. Come over here and work this. That was nice and smooth that time. So we'll do it right about, right below this paint line right here. So just hold it on one spot, right on the edge. You may be asking yourself, what in the heck are we doing here? Well, one of the first things I like to have my students do is burn through an edge, the peak of a body line, and the flat spot of a panel. And do that early on so they can figure out and kind of experience what it takes, and then figure out a little bit more quickly what it takes not to do it. And most of the time, they never do it again. Quite honestly, unless you have a dry pad or the clear or single stage is extra thin, or you've repeatedly gone over the same area over and over again, it takes a little bit of effort to burn through. That's what it looks like. And I always have my students burn through first so they get the feel and they know how long it takes, pressure, the temperature, and then they never do it again. All right, enough with the test panel. We got a bright young man here. Let's just get him right onto the car. You can see we have plenty to work on. We have swirl marks, we have scratches, etching, absolutely everything you can think of that can happen to clear. So basically from here on, what I do is back up slowly, try to blend into the background, keep an eye on him from a distance, and let him get to work. Unless he's doing something majorly wrong, I'll let him try to figure it out. And if there's no major catastrophe, I'll let him continue on. The best way to learn, guys, is hands-on. Get experience yourself. Set up a ton of panels. Believe me, I'll say it over and over again. The body shops are more than happy to get rid of test panels. All you have to do is pay for a couple horses, set them up on horses, and practice all of the shapes and contours and the body lines that those panels can provide for you. The potential to burn through normally occurs on rubber and plastic bumpers the most. So keep that polisher moving, keep your arm moving, keep the speed down, and lighten up on the pressure if you have to. Another thing I like to add that I know I've mentioned often, but there are a lot of new members to the channel, so you'll never hear the polishers screaming on the highest speed setting in our shop, in our videos. They're always under control. The speed setting between the third and the fourth speed setting, no need to go any higher. All you're going to do is spike temperatures anyways. Pressure, we're always going to let the polisher do the work. You normally see us cupping the polisher with maybe our thumbs on top of the polisher, letting them apply the pressure. That way we know we're not applying too much. Okay, so he has quickly gone around and completed the cutting stage. And as you can see, there's hazing left behind. It has removed a ton of the imperfections. We're not going for all the imperfections because I'm teaching him how to take care of and maintain clear coat and care for clear coat and leave plenty of it behind for the owner as he enjoys the car for years to come. So we're going to follow up with a dual action polisher. I myself love to follow up with the Rotary and a nice soft foam polishing pad to finish. But we're going to make it easier for him this round, and we'll teach him the DA. Now, the important thing for DAs is keeping them flat. And if you don't have a ton of experience behind the polisher, you may forget about that, and you'll see it tilting from one side to another. Just be mindful and keep the polisher flat to the panel. Get a nice even cut. And there we go, polisher set right between third and the fourth speed setting, and all we're doing is guiding it back and forth. You can see his thumb on top of the polisher. We're letting our tools do the work. We can get through an 8, 10, 14-hour day and not be worn out, because if you are, you might be doing something wrong. Let those tools do the work for you. That's what they're designed for. So I get a little bored standing around watching the process. I'll grab a polisher, jump in, and help the young man and see if we can wrap this up a little bit quicker. He's doing a fine job so far. Let's see if we can get this thing done. And in no time at all, we have both steps taken care of, the cutting and the finishing process. And we're just going to take a panel prep and wipe this thing down, make sure there are no polishing oils, and we'll back it outside and walk around, take a look. Now, the turnaround is absolutely obvious, but let's put some numbers behind what we're seeing here. The most important part to me and my customers alike is we did this without removing a ton of clear coat, a ton of measurable clear coat anyway. So it was safely done. Is it perfect? No, not even close. But the turnaround's enough to put a smile on any customer's face or yours if you're working on your own car, and you can do it safely. Keep in mind, you want to preserve that clear coat. Guys, I absolutely think Brian here did a fantastic job. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. This was the first time he's picked up a rotary. Didn't take him long to get comfortable with it, and I really do believe it won't take you long either. Hey, if you want to talk about it, you can email me, give me a call. I will help you in any way. Okay, so your first time using the rotary, was it a little intimidating at first?
Yeah, it was kind of scary at first, but then once I figured everything out, it was pretty easy.
Has it seems to have a mind of its own. That's because of the power and the way it rotates. Did you have a problem with the wobble? And if you did, how did you deal with that?
I did have a problem with the wobble. I kind of eased off the pressure a little bit and sometimes stopped the rotary just to kind of regain my balance and everything like that.
Yep, and as I mentioned, you can tilt it on a 10 or 15 degree angle and then bring it back down. It'll straighten out the wobble and you can get right back to it. But for the most part, keep it flat as often as you can.
Yep.
All right, good to go?
Yep.
All right.